Hey there, friggity fraggers! Yeah, so exciting week ahead. We are deploying the permafrost sail on Friday at 12 UTC. We're in the process of adjusting the sail contracts for that, making sure all the tests pass, and we don't accidentally print way more fry than we intended. Quite excited about that. Quickly want to chat about a thing called Core that launched, I think it was on Saturday night or Sunday night, depending on where, or Sunday somewhere, depending on where you are. And essentially what Core is, very interesting idea. I gotta give it to them. Lots of parallels to the permafrost. Core is basically a coin that I think its total supply is something like 10,000. And essentially if you provide liquidity on Uniswap against Core, there's an interesting little dynamic that kicks in with the Core ERC20 contract, and that's basically that no Core ERC20 transaction will succeed if it causes liquidity on Uniswap to go down. So the result of that is it's a little bit of the Hotel California situation, where you can never leave. So the problem with this is, of course, that if, like me, for instance, you look at Uniswap or you look at the different pools and you try to see where you can gain some nice fees, one of the best ways to do this is you just look at what is the daily volume versus the liquidity locked. So the higher that ratio is, the better for you, because you're going to make a lot of fees, and you'll likely, the longer that has been the situation, the more likely you are that you will be able to compensate for the impermanent loss that way. Now, if somebody saw Core and they just blindly piled into it, which I'm sure, hundreds of thousands of dollars of people actually did, the problem is now that they are stuck with those liquidity tokens and they can't pull the liquidity out again. Now, what Core does allow you to do is it does allow you to essentially put your liquidity tokens into a staking contract, and then you can earn more Core that way, right? And they also have some system where they essentially like charge a fee but then pay the fee back out to the stakers. So there's some shuffling around of the coins that way. Now, I wish almost all projects luck all the time, but there are a couple of things that really concern me about this. The one thing is not voluntary. It's not voluntary. If you didn't know about this and you just participated in liquidity provision on Uniswap, now you're stuck there. Right, now the argument might be, okay, but you can make some Core back. True, but the system as a whole is actually quite inefficient. Every time the gears turn, there's a lot of friction, and that friction specifically manifests itself in terms of the fees that you have to pay to Ethereum to actually make the system, move around. So the thing is, at some point you have to, you can't build a perpetual motion machine. At some point you have to actually deliver value. Now, the Core team, again, I wish them well, but the problem is basically you've now snookered a bunch of people involuntarily into using your system, right? The fact that they can coordinate to get out of the hole that you dug for them, it's not exactly a bonus. So yeah, and the Core system also seems as though it will have governance at some point, and that some of the funds that are locked can then actually in different ways be applied to other projects. But again, that's also not 100% clear. So anyway, super interesting experiment. Lots of parallels with the permafrost experiment that we're doing. I would like to say that the permafrost experiment in our case is voluntary, and you're not going to accidentally lock your liquidity away, if you follow the instructions at all. You'll know what you're getting into exactly. But I'm very excited for the permafrost experiment, and we'll see how it goes.